With a disdainful snort, Zhang Xiaofan didn't respond to her words. Instead, he turned around and began to rearrange the pile of bones that had been disturbed while he was reading. A strange thought popped into his head. Looks like you were also a lovesick person. Perhaps you died for a woman too? Of course, the dead couldn't respond to him, but Zhang Xiaofan found himself inexplicably feeling closer to the skeleton. Meanwhile, Biao, still excited, murmured to herself, I never thought Madame Golden Bell would have feelings for that damned black-hearted old ghost. Humph, it must have been him who was heartless. He deserves to be struck by lightning. It's best learned from the demonic sect. If this were to reach the ears of the elders at Qingyun Sect, he would undoubtedly face severe punishment. However, in the heat of the moment, Golden Bell, she quickly turned the bell over and found 3 small characters engraved on the inner. Zhang Xiaofan couldn't help but feel uncomfortable. It seemed like this was an extremely powerful magic treasure, obtained inadvertently by her. With a cold tone, he said, have you found a way out? Bia's eyes were fixed on the small bell in front of her as she absent-mindedly replied, no. Zhang Xiaofan turned his head away and said flatly, then you might as well die here with this golden bell. Biao was stunned for a moment, realizing that it might indeed be the case. Now, the most important thing was to find a way out of here. She hurriedly asked, have you found one? Zhang Xiaofan shook his head silently, and the two of them exchanged a glance. Biao suppressed her smile and said seriously, then let's focus on finding a way out. With life and death looming, Zhang Xiaofan nodded silently. The two of them began to search the tunnel cave together, examining every wall and crevice meticulously. Zhang Xiaofan even ignored Bia's strong opposition and checked the statues of the Empress of the Holy Mother and the Tianyin, but still found nothing. When they met again in front of the pile of scattered bones, they both wore expressions of disappointment. Their faces darkened. Bia's voice was hoarse as she said, are we going to die here? Zhang Xiaofan lowered his head, his expression unreadable. Biao fell silent too. Suddenly, the shadow of death enveloped the two young lives. After a long time, amidst the silence and their wordless exchange, Zhang Xiaofan suddenly leapt up, turned around, and walked away. Biao was startled and asked, what are you doing? Clamping his teeth, Zhang Xiaofan said determinedly, I'll search again. There must be a way out. We won't die here. But in his heart, there was still one sentence he hadn't uttered, echoing repeatedly, I must see senior sister Linger again. Even if it means death, I'll bury her on Dazhu Peak. Biao remained motionless, sitting on the platform, watching Zhang Xiaofan with a serious expression as he, in this moment of life and death, burst out with a strong desire to survive and continued searching relentlessly. Once, twice, thrice, 4 times. Biao couldn't remember how many times Zhang Xiaofan had entered and exited the cave chamber. Each time, he returned empty-handed. Yet he remained undeterred. She couldn't fathom why he was so stubborn or why his will to survive was so strong. He kept searching again and again until his steps began to falter, until he had no more strength left, until he stumbled past Biao, swayed, and collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Biao gazed at him blankly, as if hesitating for a moment, before walking over and turning his body around to check on him, finding no major injuries, just exhaustion and dehydration causing him to faint. She breathed a sigh of relief. But then, she suddenly froze, asking herself inwardly, why am I relieved? Why did I relax when he's fine? This thought flashed through her mind like lightning.